Do you think you can earn 518,000 within 5.5 years? My name is Randall, and today in this video, I will share with you how I gained 518,000 within 5.5 years. Before we get started, help me like this video so that we can reach more people out there, and also you can help me in this whole process. Today, I'm going to be covering 3 topics on your own property journey itself that you can consider. For example, how much capital you require to enter your first property. And second thing is that what is the game plan that you can look out for when entering this particular property? And also importantly, how do we identify the right point to exit a property itself? So right now, let me share a bit with you on my own story on how I started this property journey. So back then in 2018, when I was starting to buy my first property, actually I was looking at a one-bedder. And when I bought this one-bedder at that time was having a lot of challenges along the way. For example, like my parents were saying that why you don't choose a BTO and a lot of options that were out there. For example, even a resale flat. But I discussed with my wife that we wanted to have something different from the masses, and we decided to take action to buy this one-bedder unit in Riverfront Residences. And one thing I'm very thankful is that without buying this unit, I wouldn't have amassed such an amount of capital gains itself, because with this unit, I gained the capital of 98,000, which I reinvested when I bought my Castle Green unit right here in 2021 itself, where I bought in a resale unit, and actually my wife and I were staying in it. So in this whole process is that we managed to elevate our portfolio again in this year itself, in March, where we sold our Castle Green unit at a capital gain of 420,000. Of course, if you add all this up, this is equivalent to the 518,000 that I was mentioning to you about in the earlier part of the video. So if you have some value that you gain through this sharing that I have with you, feel free to leave some comments in the comment section below, and also like this video and share to some friends before we carry on to our next part. So from here, what's going on next is that for my wife and I, we decided to move into another unit. Like currently, we bought a Lentor Mansion, 3+ Flexi. We are very thankful that we decided early to actually exit our property as well and move to the next one. I will share with you some of the thought process that we had in order for us to actually move on into a next unit. And it's actually something that it may be very impactful to you in this whole journey. So using my current existing listing that I have, I actually share with you some examples of how to do a calculation. So with a one-bedder at 750 to 800,000, this is a scenario. For example, a buyer is 30 years old today, and his CPF OA has 122,000, and the cash on hand is about 100,000. When they choose to buy a unit, right now they actually have a down payment, which actually encompasses of 5% cash and 20% CPF. So if we take the current pricing of 800,000 times 25%, it's equivalent to 200,000. So this is the down payment in terms of the property itself. Then on top of that, if we talk about stamp duties, it's actually 3% minus 5,004, which actually equivalent to 18,006. So if you add this together with the legal fee of 2,005, we actually require approximately about 221,000 to actually enter into a unit itself. So this buyer that we have at 30 years old actually is able to afford to enter into this property, barring all the loan assessments and all that. In terms of this, some of the units that we have are pretty exciting, pretty beautiful units as well. For example, a super high floor unit facing very nice views, and also a very cozy home that we have in one of the units, the Alps itself as well. So what's the game plan to exit? The game plan that I have for myself was to exit within every 3 years, to actually repeat the whole process from a one-bedder to two-bedder to three-bedder. So along this process, right, what do I have in mind was I wanted to change from a single income unit to a dual income unit. What I mean by that is that, for example, today if you buy a one-bedder, the person that's buying from you will only be a single income. But if you buy a 2-bed, 2-bath, for example, which is a unit I bought at Castle Green, you actually can target families where usually there's a couple entering to buy from you. And with that, you actually have a dual income situation where both of the parties are able to come in to afford the loan. So along this process, you have a higher chance of capital appreciation because of the fact that the loans actually do increase as well. So for myself, why I decided to enter a 3-bedder after selling my 2-bed, 2-bath was because I wanted to capitalize on the fact that we actually have a wider pool of buyers where they could have kids and all that. So a lot more intentions are there. Because for the Lentor Mansion project that I bought, it's actually within a km to two good schools. One of it is the CHIJ, and the other is actually the Anderson Primary School as well. So along this whole process, we actually elevate our own capital appreciation potential because of the fact that we actually have more buyers that can actually assist us to actually push up our property values. This is actually a game plan that I have for myself, and it's actually very useful if you can adopt this same game plan as well. Okay, let's take a break right now over here. So if you have any thoughts that you have in this whole process itself, do feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and also help me subscribe to my video. And let's head to the last point. How to identify when to exit. At that point in time when it was 2021, that time, I was actually discussing with my wife what should we do next, because our riverfront unit took very long to actually build, and we wanted to move out of my parents' place. The process of thinking to move out wasn't that easy, because is that we are finally going to be independent away from my parents as well. So this whole process of thinking into upgrading to another unit wasn't easy. I guess many of you may have some of this thought process as well. This is actually something that personally we went through because we wanted to actually elevate to the next step. So in this whole process, we started to hunt for a place at this Castle Green itself, where we managed to actually spot the right unit and entered into it. So along this journey in Castle Green itself, we actually told ourselves we want to stay long term. We actually wanted to stay to a 6 to 8 years time frame. Along the way, to this point itself of identifying the right time to exit, right? What was the thought that we had was very simple. If we hit a certain target price, we actually choose to exit. Because from the time we bought it at 830,000, and as the first year passed, we actually crossed 950,000. Then subsequently, it crossed 1.1 million. And this year, it has crossed 1.2 to 1.25 million. So this whole process of property price increase, right, actually gave us a thought. Should we reorganize our portfolio? Should we actually plan and actually move forward from here? Honestly, it wasn't an easy decision to move on, because we actually had built a very strong friendship with our neighbors, and especially because I have a dog, Miko actually. So usually we will bring her down to have walks, and we actually do have a lot of neighbors that were very friendly. We start to think whether is it worthwhile to continue and live inside the property, or capture the gain and move to a next unit. So this whole process is very simple, that we took the decision of selling because we wanted to lock in our profit, and from there move to a larger unit, which is our Lentor Mansion itself. I cannot guarantee whether we will be moving into Lentor Mansion, because along the way, if the capital appreciation may have reached a certain level as well, we may want to continue the upgrading process. Because our goal is very simple. We wanted to buy a landed home such that we can actually build a strong foundation for our family as well. And of course, there's more space for Miko to roam around. So in conclusion today, if you actually plan your own property journey, it's about starting the first step. Because without starting, a lot of all these things are not attainable. Because my own process is very true to this story. Because if I didn't buy my riverfront back then, right, I couldn't afford to buy my Castle Green. And if I didn't buy Castle Green, I cannot afford to buy my Lentor Mansion. So along this whole journey itself is about entering the first unit. And of course, having a proper game plan to exit at the right time. So for me, it's very simple. If you can enter into a 1-bedder, plan ahead to enter a 2-bedder, and subsequently a 3-bedder. Of course, if you can skip certain steps, it's actually very good. But if you follow this tailored plan that I have for you, you can actually slowly increase your property value as well. Again, if you like this video, feel free to like, share and subscribe, and hit the notifications bell if you want to have more videos like this.